Long Island Paranormal Investigators proudly presents Ghost News Network. Your hosts are Michael Cardenuto, Robert Levine, and Demetrius Haratos. And now, this week's edition of Ghost News Network. Hello and welcome to the Ghost News Network. Today is October 19th, 2014. Sorry about that, I forgot where I was for a second.
These things happen.
Yeah, I was like, I'm in a time tunnel.
There you go.
And as always, I'm Dimitri, and this is
Mike?
And Nancy.
And we have Crispy Dylan over here.
How's it going?
Hi,
Working
Crispy
on,
Dylan.
I think that's a pretty good DJ name, Crispy Dylan.
Crispy Dylan.
Yeah, man.
Crispy.
Crispy
There you
Dylan.
go. Nice.
My radio personality name is Dplex. I'm gonna change it. Yeah.
Nice.
It's gonna be Dplex.
Nice. Awesome.
We're dropping the beats now. All right. Anyway, we don't drop beats here. We don't even do music, other than the intro. But we have a great show lined up ahead of us for today. We got our urban myth and legend. We're going to talk about the State University of New York at Brockport. We have our theory of the week, which is the EMF theory. We have our equipment review, which is the IR night vision. This week in paranormal history, October 17th, 1931, Al Capone goes to jail. Nancy's got her social corner, and we're going to be answering some fan questions. And then we have we don't have a movie review, so forget that. And we have there'll be Evidence Vault.
Awesome.
Although I did recently watch Nightmare on Elm Street too, so I can talk about that
Nice. Sounds good.
if we have time.
Awesome.
But so what's new? Tell us what's new in the world of Lippy, Mike.
Well, we got it's everything. So much stuff going on. We had our interview session, and we just had some new probationary members start up a couple weeks ago, and they're doing pretty well so far. Starting to get ready and talk about what locations and trips we're going to take in 2015. We're still plugging away on our Facebook page. Right now, we're at a little over 9,000 fans. Our goal is to hit 10,000 by the year end. So if you can help us out, promote us out there on Facebook. Once again, we're trying to hit 10,000 by the year end. So let's get there. We have less than 1,000 to go. So it's definitely doable. We're looking into starting some new equipment into the new year. We're talking about using the P or the SB7 Spirit Box. I don't know the exact name for it, but we're looking to start using that sooner than later. Also talking about possibly working with the Ovilus, either the X or the 3. So these are some things that we're going to definitely start to work with and see how it goes. I start seeing a lot of groups, and we're starting to get a lot of questions asked to us if we've used these devices and what we think of them, and it's hard to give an opinion when you've never worked with them. So we kind of want to start using them and seeing where that takes us. So yeah, I mean, that's going on. What else we got going? We got Halloween's coming up real soon. So yeah, I mean, we have a trip coming up about a week from now to Atlantic City. We're going to AC. We're probably we don't have a definite plan of where we're going. We might do Eastern State Penitentiary, walk around the streets of Philly, check out some of the old locations over there, Valley Forge, and then we're definitely going to go to AC for the weekend. I think we're going to hit up Cape May as a definite, so we'll keep you posted more on that trip and everything, see how that goes. What else?
October 27th, we will be featured
Yes.
on WSHR. For those of you that are local to Long Island, you guys can listen to us. It's the Sachem High School radio station, but they do their own mixes at night. They have some DJs come in and do their mixes on. We will be with Ryan Parisi, who brings us on every year around
Yep.
Easter time, and we always do Easter around Halloween
Halloween.
time. That's the one with the mutilated bunny that kills people, right?
No, that's the one with the zombie. Never mind.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that one.
You mean Ebola? No.
No. No, that's right now, actually.
So we'll be doing WSHR at what time is that, Mike? We'll be on the air at 8
I
o'clock.
believe 8 o'clock. I think from 8 to 10.
Yeah, so we'll be on from
So-
8 to 10 for all you local guys. It's going to be the following Monday from not tomorrow, but next Monday, the 27th.
Yeah, the 27th.
And you guys can listen to us there. So check it out. Let us know what you think. I know when we did it last year, everybody really enjoyed it, and they wanted to bring us in. And I'm going to throw a beer bottle at Crispy Dillon because his dancing is very distracting.
You like the beer bottle. It's,
you
it's
go.
like
I know, right?
that. What was it? The Blues Brothers when they were
Yeah,
playing the
yeah.
country western.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, kids. Just got
Nice,
it. It's
nice.
fun. So he breaks into Rawhide.
There you go.
He's gonna. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we're just we're getting towards our season end with investigating urban legends because the weather's going to start dropping drastically cold. So we'll probably get through October, November. I hope to go out maybe like first or second week in December, weather permitting. So that's coming up on a year end, and we'll be doing a lot of in-house training and stuff like that. This is where we really focus on our website. Adding a whole bunch of new locations to our website, a bunch of new evidence, new photos. So, stay tuned and take a look at that. www.liparanormalinvestigators.com. We also, Best of Long Island nominees are in. This is Long Island Press, www.lipress.com. It's Best of Long Island. We've been nominated for 3 things this year, which is awesome. The number one thing is Private Investigator. If you go on longislandpress.com and you check out Best of Long Island, we're listed under the category of services, and then we're nominated for 3 separate things. One is Private Investigator, and you'll see us Long Island Paranormal Investigators. Our psychic Shannon Collins got nominated as well, so if you want to vote for her under Best Psychic, Shannon Collins. And then also website-based business at liparanormalinvestigators.com. So if you want to vote for us, you can vote once a day per category. So help us out, win this for us again. So we've won so far 3 years in a row for Best Private Investigator. So we're really proud and honored for that. So we got a lot going on. And
Plus,
we always
they do
do.
a really nice dinner.
They do an awesome dinner, so can't complain there. We also just revamped our DVR system a little bit. We used to use RCA wires, and each camera would have to get plugged into wherever it was located. So we changed over our entire wiring system now. Makes setup a lot quicker and a lot more sufficient and more clearer on our DVR cameras. We probably spent probably close to $180 on just wires alone, but we feel it's well worth it with cutting down our setup times and our clarity on our DVR system. So we're really looking forward into doing that. I think we're also looking into, because 35 millimeter photography will be obsolete, they're saying within less than 2 years. So we're looking into replacing that on our list of equipment. We're probably going to look into getting a full spectrum camera within the next probably year, I would say. So
You don't want none of the new Polaroids?
No, I'm not touching Polaroids. It's too expensive. But,
It really is. It really is.
So yeah, I mean, this is got a lot of stuff going on here. We're still trying to work out with the motion sensor IR cameras. We've been having an issue with the batteries and stuff. You really need a high quality C battery, lithium ions. So we're trying to look to see if we can plug them in to save us the costs and stuff of that. But we haven't really played too much with that. I know we talked about it, but so yeah, it's something that we're going to try to work on. But yeah, I mean, otherwise that's about it.
I know I've been researching the FLIR FLIR, or whatever you
FLIR,
said.
yeah.
The FLIR 1 to see if it's conducive to being a paranormal investigator. But I don't know.
Right.
I was on the phone with them. They tell me at night the view goes from 0 to 15 feet. Yeah. I just don't know if that's going to be good enough for investigating yet. So, that's just in the early stages of research and see what we can pull out of them. But I don't know. I know we tested it with airplane mode and having the cell phone out to see if it interferes with any of our other equipment, which it doesn't really, but I don't know that I'm 100% convinced yet.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
So we'll see what happens.
But what else? We're working on our YouTube channel. We already shot all the footage for Hanging Tree, which is one of our urban legend locations. Our goal before the year end is to get 2 more completed. We're looking either into like Stony Brook Gristmill, Five Corners Cemetery. I think those are the 2 that are on our list. We're going to see maybe Lakeview Cemetery. We're going to see what we can kind of pull off before the end of the year. So that's a couple more things we'll be working on. Once we get all that posted up on YouTube, we'll be plugging that away so you guys can take a look at that, see what these locations are all about. Not just going on our website and reading the story and seeing the photo. Now you can actually see it on video, of the investigation and the daytime shots. You really get an idea what the location is really all about. So we're looking really forward and looking excited on showing that to the world. So yeah, we got just so much stuff going on. So but yeah, it's been awesome so far. We're closing out the year pretty good. So this past year with evidence wise, I think the team did an awesome job this past year with evidence. I mean, we're hitting probably between 3 and 4 out of 5 investigations with Class A EVPs, which is amazing. So we really hit it hard this year. So between trips and urban legends and everything else we've been plugging along with. So but yeah, it's been awesome this year. So can't really complain.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right, so we have urban myth and legend to talk about.
Awesome.
State University of New York at Brockport.
Sounds good.
It's not a mouthful.
There you go. State University of New York at Brockport.
Where's it located, Mike?
Brockport.
What state would that be?
New York.
Oh, okay.
It's a SUNY school. A lot of the SUNY colleges actually are supposedly haunted. They all have their different tales and their different urban legends. But here's SUNY Brockport. Brief history. The State University of New York at Brockport, New York began its existence in 1841, while known as the Brockport Collegiate Institute. In 1942, it became known as SUNY Brockport. The university resides in upstate New York alongside the Erie Canal. Today, the university is a bustling community which supports the town that essentially grew up around it. Like many colleges, SUNY Brockport is said to have a lesser-known paranormal population. One of the most well-known of these campus locations is Hartwell Hall. This building is one of the oldest on the campus. Haunted history. Over the years, the cleaning staff has claimed to hear people in the halls and doors opening and closing when no one else is in the building. One person has claimed to feel someone grab her shoulder while she was cleaning a classroom. When she turned around, there was no one else there. The same person claims that one day she slipped off a ladder and some unseen force caught her and gently placed her on the ground. Hartwell Hall used to have an active pool in its basement. While it's no longer there, splashing is sometimes still heard by those who enter the basement. One other account of paranormal activity is from a suite at Montemere Hall. Montemere Hall is one of the old dorm complexes on the campus. The suite is said to be the home of a spirit who committed suicide there in the 1970s. A brief examination of this story seems to support the suicide claim. The girls staying inside the suite claim to have paranormal items disappear and reappear shortly after in different locations. The personal effects weren't moved by the girls. One of the students woke up one night to a bright light hovering over her bed. She says it's hovering there for a short period of time, then moved to a corner and disappeared as she called her boyfriend in fear. Lights in the room were said to turn themselves on in the middle of the night. So yeah, I mean, these are the claims and the stories of SUNY Brockport. The co-founder of the group went there a while ago, probably back in 2004, I want to say. And he actually investigated one of the dorm rooms. Nothing happened on it. It was kind of inconclusive, but definitely a cool place. We've only been there. I think he's only been there once or twice. But we would love to go back and check it out. But it's hard to try to investigate an entire college dorm and entire college. So, but yeah, those are the storylines. So
Yeah, Rob, the co-founder, hasn't been here in a couple weeks.
Yep.
He won't be here for a little while. So since we're on the subject, that I'm forcing in,
there we go.
let's wish Rob congratulations.
Congrats.
Because him and his wife
Congrats,
just had
congrats.
a
Yes.
beautiful baby girl not too long ago.
Congrats
Littlest
to-
investigator.
to Rob and Jean. Congratulations.
That's right. We're working on it. We're working on it. Between my two kids, Rob's got a kid now.
JM's got two.
JM's got
Andy's
two.
got one.
Andy's got one.
Dylan's sitting there with a big smile on his face. He's like, I got one. But God
he
help
does,
the world
he doesn't
if he
know.
does.
If he does, he doesn't know about it.
Yep.
If she's smart, he never
yeah.
will.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, if she finds out that he's working now, alimony would be good.
Yeah, right.
No.
Rocco's got two.
Rocco's got one and one on the way. Yeah.
1.5.
Yeah,
1.5.
Carlos got one.
That sounds like a pretty
now,
nice team.
now all fingers are getting pointed at me. When's mine coming? I don't know.
Not this week.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, so LIPI too. So, but yeah, congrats to
the
Rob.
next generation.
Yeah, right. Congrats to Rob.
Somebody's
and,
got to
yeah.
investigate us when we're gone.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Oh, that'd be
A pro
crazy.
tip there, kids.
Oh,
we know
yeah.
how the recorders work.
When
Yeah.
when the kids discover the ancient site known as YouTube, they'll look back
Yeah, right. Well, the videos
and find
stuff.
these audio tapes.
Absolutely.
Say, Mike, what's wrong with these people?
It's like us finding a reel to reel.
Yeah, right.
How do I download that?
Yeah. But,
I don't know
yeah.
I don't know how to use this archaic computer to go to YouTube. Everything's streamed directly into my brain.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
I keep picturing it and it doesn't show up.
Yeah.
Damn downloads.
Yeah.
Invalid files. Who uses a wave? That hasn't been used in 50 years.
Yeah, right.
You
Oh
actually
my
had to
God.
use your finger to dial. It was a horrible time.
Yeah.
No. Don't even get me started on this Common Core math stuff.
Oh,
Oh.
let's not. Let's keep to the paranormal.
Trust me, if you see how they're doing the, if you see how they're arranging these numbers, it's paranormal. They have a new thing. I just have to add this. Because it's
Go
on my
for it.
brain. They have this new thing. It's called counting up subtraction.
Oh my god.
I'm like, isn't that fucking adding? Isn't counting up subtraction adding?
Just because I've seen this because
It's adding.
Because I have nieces now, like, and they're showing me stuff, and I'm like, well, isn't making it okay? So I had
This
like
is a lot more difficult than it needs to be.
one step. You put the bigger number and then the small, and then you just kind of take it down, and there you are. And suppose let's make this 5 steps to get to what you could have done with 1 step.
Right.
And then they're like, well, you're an idiot for not doing it. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank goodness we have fingers and toes, and we don't need to do that sort of
Yep.
addition subtraction thing. As long as
We
they
got out
like-
of school just in the nick of time.
exactly, we
God.
escaped.
Uh,
Dylan ate his calculator, so we don't have to worry about that one either. But anyways, yeah. So okay.
Yeah. So that's
Mike's
it.
my
That's
daddy.
our urban myth. Mike's my
I
daddy.
did already.
Get out of here. Oh my god.
If you
So
were,
you're
he'd
the-
never admit it. You're
Oh,
his.
man.
You're his darkest secret.
Oh shit.
Alright, so that's our urban myth and legend, State University of New York at Brockport. Next is our theory of the week. And our theory of the week is the EMF theory. And that is the electromagnetic field theory of the paranormal. And it's supposedly when a ghost or spirit gives off an electromagnetic field that can be detected by the EMF meters, electromagnetic field meters. Nearly everything in nature, both alive and inanimate, emit an electromagnetic field of some kind. And many man-made devices emit a very strong electromagnetic field, such as electrical outlets and fuse boxes. I am going to punch you in the dick. We're doing a show here, and nobody
that's
wants to
funny.
hear your awful humming.
Is that loud?
Yeah.
It's really loud.
Somebody needs to put his
I digress.
Tell us more about EMF theory before we have an actual haunting going on live.
I'm going to backtrack a little bit
Please
and say
do.
nearly everything in nature, both alive and inanimate, emit an electromagnetic field. Many man-made devices emit a very strong electromagnetic field, such as electrical outlets, fuse boxes, computers, electrical wiring, television sets, air conditioning units, appliances, and much, much more. Most of these electrical sources will give off high EMF readings as part of their normal operation. The units of measure most often used for EMF in the United States is called milligauss, mg. In Europe, the commonly used unit of measure for EMF is the millitesla, which is mt, named after the famous scientist/inventor Nicholas Tesla, who experimented greatly with electricity. And just so people are wondering what the conversion is, 1 Tesla equals 10,000 gauss.
Interesting.
Paranormal occurrences or ghosts may give off milligauss readings in the range of 1.5 to 6, depending on the EMF meter that you use. If you get a paranormal reading, the reading should not be steady. Steady, consistent readings are usually artificially created, and you may have to move around to see where the reading or ghost may be taking you. So that is the EMF theory. I know we use a lot of different EMF devices here and stuff like that.
Yep.
We talked about the energy loss meter last week, and we have a huge array of equipment. Nancy, would you like to add something?
Yeah, well, a lot of times working in case management, I'll say, what are you experiencing? What's going on? And where do we get most of the activity?
Right.
Basements, around the kitchen area,
Yeah.
and sometimes in bedrooms and things. And we'll go and check EMF.
Yep.
People always have an alarm clock near their head that is.
They got computers. They have their their wireless set up.
Yep.
Kitchens are absolutely chock-a-block. You go right next to your microwave, even if it's not running, or
right.
the clock that's on your stove.
And everything, yeah.
Chock-a-block. You go downstairs. There's a boiler. There's a
water
fuse box,
heater.
hot water heater,
Yeah.
a ton of copper wiring. You're building fear cages, and then you're wondering why are you feeling uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, most of the time, especially
Alarm clocks are the
in a
worst.
lot of basements, if it's not a finished basement, you don't have a drop ceiling, so there's no shield. So you
Right.
have all the Romex cable, you have all the power lines just right there, and especially if whoever did the electrical grounded the electrical on the copper pipes, you have EMF running all through the copper pipes, which creates basically a huge fear cage in your entire house.
Yeah.
So, and we've come across this.
I've
You know,
seen running water push
I
at EMF.
remember going
Remember?
to a faucet and putting it up there, and it reads like 1 or 1.5, and you turn the water on, and it jumps to like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's absolutely insane. So every time that you have water going through, whether it's especially if you have baseboard heating, now you're just done. You went from a 1 to a 4, just going right through the entire house. So
Plus, think about it. If you're running the heat, it's because it's cold. If it's cold, you're staying inside.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you're making yourself, you're supercharging a fear cage,
Yeah.
and then you're spending 5 hours all
sure.
night hanging out all evening
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
middle, and you're wondering why you're feeling creeped out.
Especially if you're hypersensitive. If you're hypersensitive, a 1.5 or a 2 mg is going to start to really affect you. And that's if you're hypersensitive, man. That takes a lot out of you right there.
I know
You're gonna have all those.
I'm moderately sensitive. 3s,
Yeah.
4s, that stuff kind of starts to hit me.
Yep. So it definitely plays a huge factor when you investigate someone's house to try to look at all these things. So, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Very cool.
If you want more information on the EMF theory, you can check out our website, www.liparanormalinvestigators.com. It gives you a ton of information on there, so feel free.
Excellent. Now, what you can also check on our website is our equipment review.
Yes.
And this would be our IR night vision.
Yes, infrared night vision. We use this, I'd say, about half of the time on investigations. IR night vision, all that this one is for us is a scope. We'd also have it on our cameras as well, but we also have just an IR night vision scope. And basically what that allows you to do is it allows you to basically see at night. It's got infrared built in, so you can run off the IR You can also, if you have additional IR lights, it'll obviously enhance the view that you can see, and also runs off of moonlight and starlight. With our IR night vision, you can see pretty far. I would say the distance is at least, I would say, really good range, 30, 40 feet, no problem. I mean, you're clear as day in 30 to 40 feet. Especially if you have the moonlight, going and starlight going, you're going to add at least another 10 to 15 feet easily off of just that. So, when you start to add that, you're looking at close to 45, 50 feet, which is really good. And basically, a lot of people ask, well, why would you use night vision? What's the purpose? One is the locations we investigate with myths and urban legends. You're out in the woods, you're at a cemetery, or wherever you are. There could be a factor of the human factor. There could be other people out there. So if you're starting to hear noises, you can turn night vision on. You can see a lot further than what your eyes are capable of, and you can see if there's a person out there, or if it's just an animal walking around the woods. So these are things that you're able to kind of check out. Obviously, thermal imaging would be superb here, but unfortunately, thermal imaging system is going to cost you about 15 grand, as opposed to an IR night vision scope. You could start it off and get them for like $100. So the IR night vision that we use is a Gen 1. It's the lowest level night vision you can get. Like I said, it's not bad though. It's a monoscope. It's a single scope. It's not bad. I think it's up to Gen 5 right now, Gen 5 or 6, which is kind of like what the military uses, which is badass. I mean, you'll see very, very far into the field with something like that. But for what we use it for, Gen 1 is great. If you want more information on it, like I said, you can check out our website, www.liparanormalinvestigators.com. It's listed as IR night vision, which is infrared night vision. I would say if you want to pick one up, eBay sells them. You could probably find them at like a Sports Authority. You could probably get them at like Dick's, sporting goods stores like that. Anything with hunting, they usually have them as well. They go for about $100. The batteries is like 2 AA batteries. It's nothing crazy. It's very simple to use. So if you are interested in picking it up, it's not a bad tool to have. I wouldn't get this. If you're just starting out as a paranormal group, I would wait. Get some other things. Get used to using that first before you go out and just buy IR night vision. Once again, the downfall is that it doesn't record. It's just a scope, unfortunately. So, and the theory with using IR night vision in the field is that when you're viewing through IR night vision, the theory is that by shooting the infrared light, that is going to reflect the ghost, causing you to be able to see it. Some things you're not able to see with your naked eye, but through the IR night vision reflection, you're able to see the apparition or ghost or whatever it may be. So that is the theory with IR night vision and why we use it. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can email me at mike@paranormalinvestigators.com. You can throw a message out on our Facebook page as well. So yeah, that's it. IR night vision.
These are the ANPV5 night visions
Really?
that the United
Nobody
States
can see
military
it but
used
you.
to be.
You know that,
Used
right?
to use. I'm showing them to you. I'm showing them to Mike.
That's pretty.
That's
crazy.
actually what Dan Aykroyd wears in Ghostbusters.
Really?
Yeah, these are actual night vision frames,
Wow.
and unfortunately they're really old. And
Unfortunately, the
when we
rest of
got
the-
them, they got gutted when they sent them to us. I thought we were gonna get the full set,
They gutted
and they
it.
gutted it, and I just got the frames. But a friend of mine picked it up for me, so I couldn't complain.
No, that's pretty bad.
But those are the old 1980s night vision goggles that they used to use. For those of you that don't know, and you've seen Ghostbusters, we're basically looking at the shell of the goggles that Dan Aykroyd wears in Ghostbusters as Dr.
The
Ray
actual
Stantz.
ones are just similar model.
What it's the correct model frames. It's not
Okay.
the ones from the movie,
Uh-huh.
but this is the unit he wore in the movie you're holding.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So
badass.
unfortunately they were gutted. The bottom here, this is the
that
battery
sucks. Yeah, I see
on and
that.
off,
Yep.
and it explains everything on the side.
Nice.
Now,
So-
would you be able to pick up IR gear, say at Army Navy surplus, or that wouldn't?
You might be able to. Sure. I would say that's definitely a good place to check out. There's no reason why they wouldn't have it. If they don't sell it, they can probably put you in the right direction of where to get it. Like I said, eBay is probably the simplest place to go. They have them. They're about $100, give or take. $15, $20. So Yeah, if you were looking at, like I said, the biggest downfall with it is that it doesn't shoot video. It's, you know, just like any meter. It'd be like me walking around with an EMF meter, and if it's not caught on video, it's kind of just a personal experience. But if you do see something, it kind of puts you into the right direction of where you should go. So that's basically what.
Also helps you to debunk things too.
Absolutely,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely, without a doubt. So
If you guys that are listening to us are local to Long Island, I suggest going to Wayland's Army Navy in Port Jeff.
Oh, they're fantastic.
They're really good friends of mine,
Yep.
Waylon and his wife Barbara. If they can't get it for you, they will order it for you.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
They used to carry Rothko flight suits when we started doing our
wow, that's
Ghostbuster
awesome.
stuff,
Nice.
and we didn't like them. After a while, we told him we needed something warmer. He literally changed his stock and flight suit to the ones we want,
Wow, that's
so that
awesome.
he always has them when we want them.
I
Nice.
didn't realize they were friends of yours, but I have done business with them, and they
Yeah.
are fantastic folks.
All the pins we got came from
Yeah,
Waylon's.
we did business with them too.
Yeah.
Great deal. I mean, we got a really good deal. Walked in there, I told them exactly what I needed. Bam, put it on order. Within less than a week, we had them in. So
Yeah, and they
they're really
gave
good.
us a nice price on them too.
Yep. If you're looking into getting firearm, a real firearm as well, and you're looking at Long Island FFL, they are an FFL dealer as well.
Yes, they
My
are.
friend goes there, and he said they're like the cheapest application fee. It's like $15 for
Yeah.
that, which is a really good deal. So,
Yeah.
just those of you that are firearm
Enthusiasts?
pro firearm, they're a really good company. So,
Yeah. Wayland's Army Navy, Port Jeff.
Yep.
Shout out to Waylon and Barbara.
there you go.
Hooray! Love you guys.
So, but yeah, what else we got?
Wow.
We have this week in paranormal history, and Nancy's going to give us a history, and I'm going to do the paranormal
Awesome.
junk.
Okie
So
doke.
Nancy is the new Rob.
Awesome.
Don't tell Rob
You know,
that.
all
Very
due
cool.
respect, I'm sure his wife loves him dearly, but I'm cuter, so I'm just.
Oh, and he's not even-
awesome, but you know,
He's not even here to defend himself.
Nice.
that's why I'm saying it now. Rob, love you dearly. I'm better looking, but anyways, let us move along, shall we? This week in paranormal history, October 17th, 1931, Al Capone goes to jail. Because, you know, it had to happen eventually.
Eventually.
So there's more of them than there were of you, and they want you bad enough. It's going to happen.
That's the truth.
Yeah. On October 17th, 1931, gangster Al Capone is sentenced to 11 years in prison for tax evasion. Never mind all the people he had killed.
That's what they got him on.
Yeah,
That's what they got
right.
him on. For tax evasion and fined $80,000, signaling the downfall of one of the most notorious criminals of the 20s and 30s. Alphonse Gabriel Capone was born in Brooklyn, like my dad, but, you know, without the syphilis, we hope. But anyway, sorry, Dad.
His middle name was Gabriella? No.
Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Gabriele Capone in Brooklyn, New York in 1899 to Italian immigrants. Go figure. He was expelled from school at 14, joined a gang, and earned his nickname Scarface after being sliced across the cheek during a fight. By 1920, Capone had moved to Chicago, where he was soon helping to run crime boss Johnny Torrillo's illegal enterprises, which include alcohol smuggling, gambling, and prostitution.
We do two of those three things here. No.
Dylan. And if you're interested in Dylan, please contact us at. Torrio retired in 1925 after an attempt on his life, and Capone, known for his cunning and brutality, was put in charge of the organization. Prohibition, which outlawed the brewing and distribution of alcohol and lasted from 1920 to 1933, proved extremely lucrative for bootleggers and gangsters like Capone, who raked in millions from his underworld activities. Capone was at the top of the FBI's most wanted list by 1930, but he avoided long stints in jail until 1931 by bribing city officials, intimidating witnesses, and maintaining various hideouts. He became Chicago's crime kingpin by wiping out his competitors through a series of gangland battles and slayings, including the infamous St. Valentine's Day Massacre in 1929, when Capone's men gunned down several rivals. This event helped raise Capone's notoriety to a national level. Among Capone's enemies was federal agent Elliot Ness, who led a team of officers known as the Untouchables because they couldn't be corrupted. Ness and his men routinely broke up Capone's bootlegging businesses, but it was tax evasion charges that finally stuck and landed Capone in prison in 1931. Capone began serving his time at the U.S. Penitentiary in Atlanta, but amid accusations that he was manipulating the system and receiving cushy treatment, He was transferred to the maximum security lockup on Alcatraz Island in California's San Francisco Bay. He got out early in 1939 for good behavior after spending his final year in prison in a hospital suffering from syphilis. See? The tax man's not the only one that's going to get you eventually. Plagued by health problems for the rest of his life, Capone died in 1947 at the age of 48 at his home in Palm Island, Florida.
Very good.
He was also he also spent some time in Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They actually have his cell still there. It's still supposedly if you go there, you'll know which cell was his.
Yeah.
He's got like a desk in there, like a regular sit-down chair and stuff. He's got the finer things, I guess you could say. And supposedly what happened was he gave a huge donation to Eastern State Penitentiary, and they allowed him to have some of his like personal stuff inside his cell. So,
like his gun. No.
He did spend a little bit of time at Eastern State Penitentiary. It really is a cool exhibit if you want to go there. They do daytime tours, historical tours. They also have ghost tours as well. It is a cool place to check out if you've never gone. It's in Philadelphia. It's called Eastern State Penitentiary, so definitely check that out if you're in the area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, so the paranormal claims.
Yes.
Paranormal claims are, they say that today if you were to visit in the prison showers, you can hear a banjo playing late at night. People have even heard this music from outside of the building. It is said that this is considered to be the ghost of Al Capone. When Capone was sent to Alcatraz, it is believed that the ghost of Miles O'Bannon, who was looking for revenge, followed him everywhere. The ghost followed Capone incessantly, waking him up in the night and showering him and showing him bullet wounds. Other prisoners have reported hearing laughter throughout the prison. They say that the laughter is still heard today. The ghost is often blamed for causing Al Capone to go insane. When Al Capone left, O'Bannon's ghost remained in Alcatraz. They say to this day you can still hear glimpses. You can still glimpse sights of O'Bannon's ghost as well at Alcatraz. Since Alcatraz is mentioned, it's all connected.
That's a place I'd love to check out.
Yeah, Al Capone. I don't know if it said it here because I may have checked out for a minute or two. But nothing but honesty here.
Yeah.
Because we love you guys.
But Al Capone, the reason why you hear him playing the banjo was because he joined the band in the prison because he was afraid of going out into the yard for fear of the other inmates killing him. So he joined one of the local bands, and they were allowed to practice in the shower room when everybody was out in the yard. So he joined and played the banjo so that he wouldn't have to go outside and deal with the other people.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's why you hear the banjo playing. So
very.
I'm still trying to, I'm still playing, Warden. You can't put me out there.
Yeah. They were allowed instead of going outside to practice playing the music because they would do whatever during the prison time. So so very cool stuff.
Nice.
And now it's welcome to Scurry Social Street.
There you go.
All right.
Like, because as I said, we do 2 of the 3 things here: alcohol smuggling, gambling, and prostitution.
Thanks.
That's okay. You're the pimp. Dylan's.
Yeah, like I said, just feel free to contact us via Facebook. And he's just kind of bopping around. He does not know. That's fine. It's better you don't know, Dylan. Really. All right. So,
he's gonna know when I throw that dress at him later.
I'm sure he'll figure it out eventually.
That's awesome.
And he's got a pretty mouth. You'll love him. Anyway, so as Mike mentioned earlier, it is getting colder here in the Northeast, and urban legends. We just kind of let those sit for a bit until things warm up in the springtime. However, if you really want to go and check out some urban legends, and I personally volunteer for this, there's plenty going on in Hawaii.
Really?
Yeah, so if we can always check out urban legends in Hawaii.
We'll be paid out.
That's it. We can do it.
I would love to
Ladies
go.
and gentlemen, please send us to Hawaii to investigate urban legends. We'll do a Kickstarter. It'll be great.
That'd be awesome.
If you would support a Kickstarter, please just let us know. But in the meantime, let me tell you about some stuff we can look at while we're in Hawaii. There's the story of Pele and Polly Road. There are various stories pertaining to the rocky relationship between the Hawaiian lava goddess Pele and her hog-faced demigod lover. No, we're not looking at you, Dylan. Not at all. No. One of them spawned a bizarre urban legend by the Hawaiian people that boils down to one simple rule: never carry pork on the Pali Road. Which, you know, I promise I won't. Well, we'll send them some bacon and just send them down the road and see what happens.
Nice.
As the story goes, Pele and her lover had a turbulent relationship that was doomed from the start. He was the product of an affair between his mother and his mother's brother-in-law, and his stepfather named him Hogface.
Nice.
Okay. Let's see. So he longed for his stepfather's acceptance, he says, but his heart became filled with anger and hate, and he decided to change his appearance by tattooing his face and wearing a boar's face as a mask. He was then forced to flee his island due to the troubles he had intentionally caused in his stepfather's land. When the demigod arrived in Hawaii, he heard of a gorgeous woman named Pele, so he traveled to the south of the island to ask to marry her. Pele was so disgusted by his appearance, because, you know, evidently putting a pig's head on your head is not the way to get girls. Eventually, though, Pele...
That's why it took me so long.
Well, you know, just a pro tip. There you are.
Yeah.
Eventually, Pele yielded to his efforts, and the two got married. So then he appeared changed back to his normal good looks. Unfortunately, Pele was confused that she pulled away from him and retreated to her side of the island, which was hot and filled with lava. So the two of them were forever separated. In the modern-day urban legend, attempting to carry pork over the Pali Highway, which connects Oahu to Honolulu, will anger Pele and cause your vehicle to break down until you discard the pork. In other versions of the story, an old woman or a white dog will appear, and you must offer the pork to them. The idea is that carrying pork from the one side of the island to the other is symbolic of carrying Pele's husband into her domain. So, let's see, there's a couple of other ones. Another urban legend connected with Pele is if you go to the Pele National Park and you take a lava stone with you and you take it home, you will be, you'll have horribly bad luck.
Really?
To the point, and you say, well, yeah, it's a story, but they had a documentary, and the National Park Service at the Pele National Park, they have a storehouse filled with boxes of lava rocks from people from Topeka, Kansas, and every. It's like, for God's sakes, put this thing back on the lava field. I can't, man, just make it stop. And they then they showed like redacted letters and things. And this is the National Park Service.
That's crazy.
So they really don't have anything to prove to anybody.
Right, right.
But they have a storage room just lined with boxes filled with lava rocks.
Wow.
Saying, please just hand this back.
That's crazy.
And again, we should go and hang out with that. We also, evidently, they have hobbits in Hawaii.
Interesting.
Sort of like the leprechauns of Ireland. It said these little people were credited for building the largest aquaculture reservoir on the island. Some historians believe that the story of the mythical little people could be based on reality. The theory is that that these were real people who migrated to the island of Hawaii before it was inhabited by the Tahitians. There was a belief that the Tahitians forced these little hobbits to retreat to a deeper part of the forest in an effort to survive. So if you hear the sound of splashing down the beach or the waterfall at night, it is said to be from these little people. Apparently one of their favorite pastimes besides playing pranks on islanders is diving. So they go and grab your ankles while you're swimming around Hawaii.
Fuck that.
Just keep going. But there's several others. It'll be posted. Of course, there's plenty of reported activity around Pearl Harbor. Would you ever investigate Pearl Harbor? I know we've talked about the 9/11 site.
Yeah, different. You know what it is? Pearl Harbor and 9/11 are two totally different things.
What happened was tragic, obviously, in both accounts. But
absolutely. The
so much
difference is,
time has passed.
But the difference is Pearl Harbor was a military base.
Right.
World Trade Center is not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big difference. We investigate Gettysburg. You tell me what the difference is between Gettysburg and Pearl Harbor.
There is the time
There was a
element.
battle that happened on both locations.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yes. The Japanese came and they bombed Pearl Harbor and there was complete devastation. You know what? Could have happened anywhere. You know, it's it's a war. They bombed a military base. It's not like they went inland and they bombed all the civilians and they blew up, Honolulu. You know what I'm saying? So it's different. You know what I'm saying? So I would investigate Pearl Harbor, and some people might disagree with me, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to an opinion, but I feel that like I said, Pearl Harbor was a military base, and surprise attack. Well, there's conspiracy theories out there that wasn't a surprise attack. We knew it was coming. We just decided not to listen to it.
All right.
So I mean, it is what it is. Whatever happened, happened. But I would investigate Pearl Harbor. I definitely would. I don't see that being any different than like something like Gettysburg or Battle of Antietam or the Battle of Setauket Village Group. It's all the same stuff. There's a lot of places that a lot of places where battles happened. The Alamo. There was a battle there.
Yeah.
But when they finally sacked and took over the Alamo, it was by surprise. Yeah, you knew they were out there. Everyone knew it, but they came into surprise. They held them off for a while, and then all of a sudden they just fled and took it over. So I would investigate the Alamo. Without a doubt, I would. So yeah, I would investigate Pearl Harbor. I'd love to investigate it.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
It'd be pretty crazy. Absolutely.
Yeah,
so there's very few sites I wouldn't investigate. That not being one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know how do you guys feel about that?
About
Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor.
Investigate it.
I would absolutely, especially the sunken ship that's out there where you can see the
Arizona.
flag, the Arizona. I would go out there. I mean, I would love to just go out to the Arizona, drop anchor on a boat, and just ask questions, and stuff like that. Because they say you can hear voices coming from.
Yeah.
And during low tide,
Right.
you can actually see part of it.
You go on Google Earth,
Uh-huh.
you can actually see the ship on the water
Yeah, you
from
can.
a satellite view. It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
It's fantastic.
yeah, I mean, how about you?
I think the important thing, especially because they're primarily Americans anyway,
Right.
is that being respectful and
Absolutely.
not being a douche
Oh, yeah, of
nozzle
course.
of
Absolutely.
scratch me or whatever.
Yeah,
that's
right.
denoted,
Right. That's
stuff.
uncalled for, absolutely.
So,
Right.
but we're that's not our style anyway. So as long as it was done
Sure.
properly and respectfully, I
Absolutely.
wouldn't have a problem.
Right.
When point would you? Because unfortunately, war is kind of part of life. But
Yeah.
how soon is too soon for a?
That's a great question, and
Let's say it is a
Pe-
battlefield.
people-
Let's say
well,
it is a military installation.
put
How
that
soon would be
aside.
too soon?
How about something in our own backyard out by
Uh-huh.
Smiths Point?
Yeah.
TWA Flight 800.
Mm-hmm.
Is that too soon? Happened in 1996 in August. August of 1996
Yeah.
is when that flight it either blew up or got shot down. Whatever happened, the wreckage landed off the coast of Smiths Point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about a 30-minute drive from here. Is that too soon to investigate that beach?
Yes,
And
and I'll tell you why.
why?
My method of thinking is,
Mhm.
if it happens in my generation,
Uh-huh.
it's too soon. If it's pre-1982, it's okay. If it's in my generation where I have some type of connection to it,
All right, what about
That-
Dylan?
that's my thing. Dylan, what year were you born, Dylan?
95.
95. So no,
So no,
it
right?
happened in 96.
Happened in
So you
96.
couldn't do it. That's just my safe measure of being, because I'm not connected to it.
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
No, I get where
Like,
you're going with that.
That's
I
kind of
get it.
my
Well, that's
safe.
kind of part
That's
of
my
the-
safe point.
Okay.
You know?
That's
Okay.
kind of the argument with
Like my kids could do it. If my kids wanted to investigate
Right.
it, they could do it.
I feel
But not
I
today.
agree with you.
Not
I
today,
feel
not at
that
6 years old.
I feel that
7.
We'll
talk about it.
it is too soon. That's one thing too with like when you investigate cemeteries. I won't investigate a new cemetery. I won't do it. And it's not that like for instance when my grandmother's buried. If I went there and I saw people investigating, I'm not going to take it personal. I'm not going to do it. But we don't investigate newer cemeteries. We investigate older ones. From the 1800s. I don't really think it goes much past maybe early 1900s, but that's about as far as it goes.
Mm-hmm.
We really don't investigate anything newer, and I think it kind of goes for that same reason that you're talking about.
Well, what about the argument to say, well, there's still people alive who survived Pearl Harbor?
Right.
Would that be too soon, or do you want to wait till the people who were involved pass? Like,
It's a good. It's a good discussion, good topic for discussion. Is it too soon? Because you do still have people there that are still alive. How would they feel if they saw us investigating and they were there?
Right.
How would they feel?
Yeah.
You know,
Respectful or no, how
mean,
would they?
Right. Exactly. It's a sticky situation. It's tough. You know. I mean, that's the same thing with Titanic. Can you really investigate Titanic? No, you can't go down 2.5 miles and investigate. But where did it happen? It happened on the surface. That's where it occurred. It happened on the surface of the water. Is it too soon to investigate that ground? Some people say yes. You know, so it's.
I wasn't born.
It's
good to go.
Demetrius is getting his ship
you know,
ready.
but I mean, yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, that's the same thing though. Like, where did John Lennon? He got shot in New York City.
Yeah,
you know,
in
is
1980.
it too soon to investigate that? Some people say no, but it only happened in the 80s. It's not long enough.
I think that depends
You know?
on whether or not there are claims of it.
There are.
I know
There
that there
absolutely
are. I know in this
Yeah,
case
yeah.
there are, but I'm saying
There are.
in general.
So there are,
depends
but there
on
are
the-
claims. So does it make that happened in the 80s? So does that make it okay? You know what I'm saying? Now,
As long
you may
as it was
think,
before 1982.
well, yeah, it was. Yes, it's okay. But what if his family's over there and you're sitting? You know what I'm saying?
Because
Yeah.
Yoko still lives.
You know.
She still lives at the Dakota, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know,
I
but
don't
you know,
know.
but still.
Yeah,
Honestly.
you know what it is. It all depends. I think it depends on the way of the investigation, and with something like Pearl Harbor or even TWA Flight 800. I mean, that's not long ago. That's really in '96. It was not that long ago. And what happens when you get something and it's not a residual? What happens when it's a cry for help and you get names? Where do you take that? That's the
Exactly.
biggest question on hand is what do you do then? Do you go to the family and contact them? I mean, this is straight from White Noise, the movie White Noise.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
exactly where that comes from. What do you do? And I think in certain situations, the people listen to you. Other situations, you're going to get shit on. So it's a tough situation. It really is. When you draw that line.
I think part of it is, is it research or is it just being ghoulish?
Right. Like, what if, I mean, 9/11, it holds dear to every New Yorker's heart because we live here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody's been touched by it.
You asked
here.
me if I would investigate that site? No, absolutely not. If I saw an investigation team that did it and they were respectful, would I hold a grudge? No, I wouldn't. It's just I wouldn't personally do it. That's my opinion. I wouldn't do it. Would I take it, personally if a team went in there and investigated and they did it the right way and they were respectful? No, I'm not going to take it personal. But unfortunately, it's New York.
Yeah, some people.
And a lot of people,
So.
for my own, I was working in New York City that day. I lost friends that day.
Yep.
And one of the things, and for a long time, and this is just my own personal thing, for a long time, I just, I was really unsettled because it wasn't just what happened that day.
Yeah,
It
right.
was in the weeks and months
Absolutely.
afterwards.
Absolutely.
It was just, it just wasn't, nothing was the same after that. But
Right.
But the thing that kind of gets me even now is every year, okay, yes, commemorate, absolutely,
Yep.
remember. But then you get the folks, and I call it terror porn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to listen to 911 calls about
Yeah,
people in the tires, in the
right.
towers,
I don't need to rewatch the footage
over and over
and
again.
over and over again. It's just
So,
moment of
like I said,
silence. Honor those people.
respectful versus
Yeah.
ghoulish.
Yeah.
And I think, and the closer it is, and the more people that are still around, I think the harder
Sure.
harder it is to maintain that balance.
Yep.
And so that would be kind of my personal issue, regardless of the site.
Right.
And part of that research versus being respectful versus ghoulish
Right.
was it a battlefield where you had professional soldiers that were going in to do a hard job, or was it just people going about their lives and they just had something
Yeah.
catastrophic happen?
Exactly.
So I think that's part of that whole
Right.
balance too. I
Yeah.
think that's part of it.
I think it depends on every location too. Like with something, when you talk about a terrorist attack as opposed to say a natural disaster, say Hurricane Katrina,
Yeah, perfect example.
where it was a natural disaster, you were far warned about it. Does it make it right to go there and investigate? as opposed to 9/11 where it was a terrorist attack. You know, you're talking two different things, you know, but I think one may be different than the other, a lot different, you know. I don't know. I personally, I would never investigate any 9/11 site, any of them. I wouldn't at all. I wouldn't, and I don't think the next generation should either. But that's my personal opinion. I mean, that's my opinion. I'm not gonna talk bad about somebody if they did.
Maybe 50, 100 years from now, when we're all, you know, then maybe things would be.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing too is, you know, you talk about anybody who hasn't been to the grounds of 9/11 doesn't know. It's simple as that. You don't know. What you see on TV, you have no clue. You've never been to Manhattan, you don't know. You don't know the site. Now, there's a place that's right around there. Many places that are around there that are supposedly haunted. One being St. Paul's Chapel. St. Paul's Chapel, St. Paul's Burial Ground. Now, if you ask me would I investigate St. Paul's Burial Ground, yes, I would. Absolutely. But there's a problem here. Because it's literally 2 blocks from the World Trade Center.
Right.
2 blocks from it. And years ago, my ex, her family was up from Texas, and her father was really big into the paranormal, and he had a recorder on, just recording. And we went to St. Paul's Chapel, and we sat down on a bench in there, and he heard sirens from a fire, like there was a fire somewhere, and he heard the sirens blaring through the neighborhood. And all he said was, fire, fire, fire. That's it. And you hear people screaming at the top of their lungs. Now, what is that from? Is it from the fire that broke out at St. Paul's Chapel years ago? Or is it from 9/11? World Trade Center. You know, what is it from? And that's the thing. Can you differentiate? Now, which is... He didn't do EVP questions. He didn't say anything. He didn't ask any questions.
All he did was just straight record.
All he said was straight record. And he picked stuff up. And that could be a trigger there. Now, we were in St. Paul's Chapel. Does that make it right or does that make it wrong? So it's... You know, it's a tough situation. You can be anywhere in downtown Manhattan. That's supposed... Trinity Church is another location.
Yeah.
You know,
you also have to keep in mind...
You have so many places down there.
And a lot of people aren't aware of this historically. It's not the first time Manhattan has been burnt to the ground. I mean...
Right.
You look at you know, post Civil War era.
Right.
Manhattan was literally burnt to the ground. Manhattan that stands today was built on the burnt down ashes of what Manhattan used to be.
Right.
I mean, so what's it reacting to? And that all started in downtown Manhattan. That all started in what's now considered the financial district.
And,
you know,
and there's just tons and tons of, literally tons of detritus in history. You know,
absolutely.
Oh, how many times? You know, if you go and check, and you know, they go in to build a skyscrapers, and they found a ship in the base of the World Trade Center, an old wooden ship. Right. They'll dig somewhere else. They find an old slave burial ground.
Absolutely.
So it's like I said, especially with the more, and this is the new world.
Yep.
Try pulling that trick in London.
Yeah, exactly. I think what it comes down to is everyone has their own opinion. If you decide to do it respectfully. You know, there's certain locations you can go and provoke, and then there's others that I don't care who you are, you have no business provoking, none whatsoever. So I think it just comes down to is if you do it respectfully and keep it to yourself. Don't let certain locations out. You know, because you're going to cause a big problem. Bottom line.
Yeah, if you decide to do it and stuff like that, it's just keep it in your private record.
That's it. Don't need to blast it up on Facebook or YouTube or anything like that.
And I think maybe just for any location is don't just do stuff to do stuff. Think about what you're doing ahead of time.
Right.
Consider it carefully.
Right.
And don't just do whatever you're going to do whenever you're going to do it.
If you get someone saying, please tell blah, 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 I'm okay, or whatever.
What do you do?
Are you the person that, knowing that that person exists to this day? It's one thing if a spirit from the 1800s tells you to go tell a certain family member,
tell mom I love her,
that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you get a name that's people you can find today.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
it's, in my eyes, that is your right.
That's your responsibility.
To tell them.
Responsibility.
And to show that to them.
Exactly.
Whether they decide to believe you or not believe you, that is on them. But if somebody's telling you, it's like a friend asking you for help. Somebody asks you for help, you help them. You know?
Right.
So that's another reason why you don't do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Again, like I said, generationally. To me, you know, that's my
that kind
That's
of
my
goes,
safe. That's my bumper. That's my
Yeah.
barrier.
that
Without
goes
a
back. Is it research? Are you trying to actually, is it helping the living, the dead, and everyone in between? Are you going to do that, or are you just going to be ghoulish to just
Right.
dig around to just be entertained?
Yeah.
This came up last year. Okay, we did Mount Misery Road.
Yes.
We got EVPs asking for help,
Yes, we did.
and we were like, "What do we do?
We're back a week later.
Do we go back and say, what do you need help with,
Mhm.
or do we ignore it?" We went back a week later,
Back a week later.
tried to get answers,
Right.
tried to see who they needed help, what did they need help from,
Right.
you know, just to see if there was something that we could do. And in this case, we didn't get answers, but other than people calling your name and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
but,
Always.
but
Right.
that's clearly an intelligent haunt for
Absolutely.
what it is. But yeah,
But
so
Good topic for this.
excellent
discussion,
topic.
so,
We can
yeah.
talk about it for 4. And we talked about it
could.
so much, we're going to skip fan questions and just go straight into Lippy Evidence Vault.
And
Because we're
if,
pushing over on
Yeah,
time.
we are.
If you
For
want
sure.
to, if you want to jump in, or what your thoughts, join the
Yeah,
conversation on Facebook
Absolutely, yeah.
and Google Plus. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are about these.
Yeah, absolutely. So excellent topic, Nancy. That was
you.
really good.
I get my extra
I was
copy
just
of
thinking-
the takings there.
I was just thinking here that this is why I miss Rob.
Yep.
Because Rob's our local historian. He knows little facts about stuff we couldn't even dream of
He definitely
knowing.
Definitely does.
Mike knows everything paranormal. I'm just the loudmouth host.
Nancy, the voice of
Nancy
reason?
is the voice of
There you
reason,
go.
and
if
constantly correcting us, with her English knowledge.
Well,
And Rob is our historian.
if I'm the voice, well, that's the nuns. You can thank you, Sister Loretta.
You can, yeah.
If I'm the voice of reason, we're in some deep trouble.
Well,
but anyway,
God knows, it's all relative.
Yeah.
So what we got for Evidence Vault?
Yeah, now we
So-
have part 3
Part
of what
three,
we're
right?
continuing for our Mount Misery Road
Good stuff.
EVPs. This is the first part of what's being said. We'll play part 2 of it next week. But I'm going to start with part 1. I'm not telling you what it is because boo on you. You can listen to it and figure it out, and then we'll tell you.
Stop, Mike. Keep on.
Mike,
Yeah.
you tell me.
Once again, this is Mount Misery Site 2. This is part of that whole thing. Once we play each clip, what we're gonna do is we're gonna play
overview.
the entire full clip. It's about a minute and a half in an upcoming show, and
There'll be a
Yeah.
parental warning for language.
Yeah,
there
there
should
will.
be a parental warning for language today.
yeah.
We're kind of a not safe for work kind of
But
group, but
that one is saying I'm burning. I've already spoke about the history of the location, the haunted history. So if you want to check it out, www.liparanormalinvestigators.com. It's Mount Misery Road. We're in the process of actually revamping a website on this specific location because we broke it up into 3 different sites. So hopefully we'll get that done in the upcoming new year. If we have time this year, we're going to try to shoot Mount Misery Road to get that out there for you guys to
Right.
get real idea of the location and then the audio that goes along with it, and photography. We got some interesting photos as well. So yeah, that's I'm burning is what's being said. It's
Yeah.
coming over through our walkie-talkies live. We will play it again.
Yeah,
Go for
play
it.
one more time.
Stop, Mike. Keep on.
There you go. There you
Yeah,
have
it
it.
doesn't get much better than that.
No.
Well, it will next week when we play part 2,
there you
or
go.
part four of this continuous
Yeah.
Mount Misery EVPs. But that's all we have time for today. So thank you guys very much for joining us.
oh,
What is
I'm
Nancy
sorry,
doing?
just real quick.
Yeah.
For you lovely ladies and gentlemen and folks on Long Island, I am going to be doing
Oh,
a
right.
reading.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, Nancy. We
well,
talked about this earlier.
Yes.
But,
well, they're already said they're gonna come to the reading. What they do on their own time is their own business. But
come meet us.
you
we'll
go.
be there.
so
Business
if you
cards
want
and
to,
flyers.
If you want to meet me and the other members of Long Island Paranormal, I will be reading some of my ghost stories on Sunday, November 9th from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. at Tribal Dance Long Island in Caravan Connection in East Northport, New York. 6:30 to 9:30. Get all the information on my Facebook or Google Plus page and Scary, and we'll also have it posted on the Lippy Web Facebook page as well. So yeah, I hope to meet you guys. Come on down. It's going to be a great time. It'll be myself and also an erotica author. So something for everyone. Don't bring the kids. Come along if you want to make kids, but later on your own time. But it'll be good. So come on down. I'd love to meet you guys. So there we are.
Very cool.
Awesome. Very good.
Very cool. So yeah, that's all we have time for today. Thank you guys very much for joining us on this edition of the Ghost News Network. As always, I'm still Dimitri Haratos with
Michael Carnito.
Nancy Scary.
and we will be back next week, same ghost time, same ghost channel.
There you go.
And take care, guys. Have a great night.
Have a good night.
Good night.